I'm Jay Horton. I make movies that make money. This is how. If you want to learn how to make more money with your indie films, subscribe now. Like I mentioned last week, I am done dealing directly with Amazon. As of this month, I am no longer uploading any of my content directly to Amazon through Prime Video Direct. Now, I will still have content up there, and I'll leave it, and my new stuff will also be on Amazon, but I will not be uploading directly there myself anymore. Why? Because it's gotten extremely difficult to make any real money there on your own anymore. For example, I have a movie up there that streamed over 10 million minutes last month. It ended up with a CER of 42% and earned only 1 cent an hour. I marketed the out of that movie. And honestly, I think that this is pretty much as good as it gets for indie movies done on that level, at least in regards to how many minutes they can stream. Of course, with a higher CER, it would have made, dramatically more, but with their inconsistent metrics in regards to how CER is calculated, it's next to impossible to figure out why a certain movie has a lower or higher CER than any other. And I have spent a lot of time researching and comparing and contrasting different titles. And sure, I know a few indie filmmakers out there that have streamed more minutes than this, but very few. If anyone out there does have a DIY release on Amazon that's doing over 10 million minutes a month, sound off in the comments. I would love to talk to you about it. So, if 10 million minutes and a couple of grand a month is about as good as it's going to get, then we really need to start seeking out other options, which is what I've done. When you put a movie up on Amazon on your own, it limits you in regards to other forms of distribution, which I think have now become critical for indie filmmakers looking to make a living. For example, if you submit to Amazon US and UK on your own, and then use FilmHUB to upload everywhere else, they will no longer place you on Amazon rest of the world. It's pretty much an all or nothing thing with them now. And because of the way their system works, if they don't have those Amazon numbers directly, they don't submit your movie as much to other platforms. Their whole algorithm bases where it submits you on how well the movie is streaming on other platforms that they've put you on. And Amazon is still the largest one out there. They're just not paying. If you decide to do traditional distribution, well, most distributors won't touch a movie you've already released. Now, there are those that will deal with older library titles or fractured rights and will allow you to keep Amazon, but with the pay scale so low now, why bother? 20% of 1 cent an hour really isn't much to give up. And then there's the whole IMDb TV thing. Look, I know it's still a little too early to be talking about IMDb TV. It's still new. And we really don't know yet how it's going to shake out for independent filmmakers. And yes, it is owned by Amazon. But word on the street is that the pay is going to be comparable to what Amazon was in its salad days. But here's the rub. We can't submit there directly on our own. And since it's owned by Amazon, a distributor or aggregator needs to be in control of the placement on Amazon to even get you on IMDb TV, because you can't be on both. Now, I've heard from a few independent producers that claim to have gotten to IMDb TV on their own, and maybe they have, but I can assure you, they're unicorns. You're most likely not going to be able to get there or to other major platforms like Tubi TV without some kind of help. Now, I will say this. Counting on placement on third-party platforms like Amazon, IMDb TV, or Tubi TV is not the only way to make money on your independent movies. There are filmmakers out there that make a go of it all on their own. They set up streaming through their own websites, author and put out their own DVDs and Blu-rays, sell merch on Etsy or some other such site, and they make it work. I totally support and respect this approach. It's a totally viable approach. It's just not something that I'm overly familiar with or am good at, which is why I don't speak about it more. I do plan to look more into this in the coming months and will eventually do a video on it, so keep an eye out for that. I've been a big cheerleader for Amazon in the past, and honestly, they really did open up the market for DIY filmmaking in a pretty great way. I will always be grateful for that. But at the current rates, it's just not all that great an option for DIY distribution anymore. I asked a few filmmaking groups about Amazon and found a lot of people upload there strictly for the exposure. Filmmaker tips from filmmakers. I'm thinking of uploading a project or two for exposure purposes. To me, personally saying you can watch my film or documentary, etc. on Amazon sounds better than you can see it on YouTube. I get the idea here, and I can't fault filmmakers for thinking like this, but Amazon is a marketplace. It is for making money. And it's this kind of stuff, uncurated and probably not appropriate for the platform, that's led us to this place where they don't want to pay a fair rate for material anymore. If you don't think your project is good enough to make any money, don't clutter up the market any more than it already is. That's what YouTube's for. If you want to learn how to make more money with your indie films, subscribe now. And for more tips and even a personal consultation on your next project, check out my Patreon. But whatever you do, keep making movies.